Welcome, and thanks for tuning in. My name is Veit Becker.
And my name is Alice Diepenbrock.
And together we're going to show you what's inside the IFCN Dairy Report 2020 and how you can use it the best.
So what does the IFCN Dairy Report cover? It has data for 123 countries covering 99% of world milk production.
Our partners inside the IFCN Dairy Research Network use the Dairy Report as a one point of truth and as a backbone for their strategic decisions.
So what is the Dairy Report? It's a 200-page book about the complex global dairy world, and it has national and regional data.
The IFCN Dairy Report provides a comprehensive economic overview of the dairy world with national insights, thanks to our local researchers inside the network. We strive to help people in the dairy world make better decisions.
And who is it interesting for? Well, anyone active in the dairy world. That's for policymakers, dairy processors, farmers, farm input companies, and of course for dairy researchers.
Talking about what's inside the Dairy Report, this is a quick overview of the contents inside the book. Talking about dairy farm comparison, monitoring dairy indicators over time, especially our famous country profile analysis, and a special chapter dedicated to the methods and innovations used in our production of the Dairy Report. So, Alice, what can we actually use the Dairy Report for?
Well, you can answer it to various questions referring to dairy. For example, how is dairy farming done in each country? How competitive is my country in comparison with others? How is policy impacting dairy farming systems and production? What's the cost structure of a dairy farm? How does the national milk price compare with the global milk price? Or what's the average lifespan of a cow?
Oh, super interesting. So I think we should take a look into the different topics that we can explore with the Dairy Report. For example, regarding the global outlook. We have a special part of the Dairy Report dedicated to the growth of the population, the milk demand, and what it means for dairy self-sufficiency.
How can you use it for dairy farm analysis? So here are ways to look at these questions of how dairy farming is done in each country, how competitive each country is, and how policy is impacting dairy farming systems. We can compare costs, returns, profitability, productivity of dairy farms worldwide. There are also real-time costs that have been included for some countries for 2020. And overall, you get a great picture of the cost of milk production and how this is looking like for different farming systems.
Very good. Yeah, it was already good. So you can also use the IFCN Dairy Report to check up on the global milk price development. Questions answered are: how are we calculating the world milk price? What are the prices of the different dairy commodities? And what is the relation between feed and oil prices? So the broad overview on these specific dairy issues, such as the milk prices, the feed prices, milk feed price ratio, and the monthly milk price transmission, you can easily compare using our diverse set of indicators. As you can see here on the left top, which is the IFCN Combined World Milk Price Indicator for your reference. And on the right, you can see the comparison of the dairy commodities prices.
And there is much more about milk prices. For example, national farm gate milk prices versus the world milk price. Or how is the milk price even split? What share of it goes to farmers? What goes to retailers? What goes to processors? And what does the global comparison look like for this?
So coming to the IFCN Dairy Report country analysis, our famous country pages, there you can see for 122 countries plus the EU, the level of the national milk production, dairy consumption, and the value inside the dairy chain. Taking a look at one of our country pages, for example here Mexico, you can see that there's milk supply and demand developments, the monthly farm gate and world milk prices available, as well as the consumer prices and the margins in the chain. The milk processing profile per dairy product is also included, just as we included the major milk processors per country for you. So the key results we then summarize via world maps. But Alice, I think there is something that we should point out because the dairy report changes every year.
That's correct. With regards to the country pages, we publish different data sets every even and uneven year, and it's something to be aware of. For example, during even years, we focus on the dairy consumption for each country and the dairy sector chain analysis, whereas during uneven years, we put more focus on the farm structure data and on milk and feed prices in each country.
And we understand that everybody has different data needs when it comes to dairy. So in this new version, the IFCN Dairy Report 2020, this year you will have the processing profile included. If you go back to the landing page where you most likely came from, you can also access last year's version and a bundle with both years at the same time with different prices according to what you need.
Then we also have one chapter dedicated to our methodology. This is very interesting for people to understand better how we make our data sets comparable on a global level. And we also provide more details about the typical farm model and its capabilities, which gives details about the farm economic analysis and how this is done.
So if you want to check if the information we have is correct and how you can integrate it best in your standardized model, this chapter is your go-to point. At the end, we want to give a special thanks to our research partners who supported us, who were preparing this fantastic report for you.
A special thanks also goes to our supporting partners for making it all possible.
As you can see here, at the moment, 140 companies rely on IFCN data as a building block in their market intelligence. We are glad to support you too.
Get your own copy of the Dairy Report now.
You can get it on Dairy Report online or follow the QR code on the screen.
Thanks for listening and goodbye.
We hope you enjoyed this video. In case you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And until then, bye.